David to say prayers.
Accountability session. We pray for the speakers, Father. We bless each and every one of us here together with them as they deliver to us this morning. Father, we pray as we join them, Father, and we celebrate with them. We pray that at the end of the day, it will be the glory to you and you alone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. David, for your lovely prayer. And today we wish to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, Roland Ray, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Ms. Lakia Joseph, Parliamentary Secretary within the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Mr. Greg Rollins, IICA ECS representative, Mr. Anthony Cyril, Technical Officer of IICA Office Dominica, Mr. Dorian Etienne, Officer in charge of CADI Dominica Office, our NDBD rep who is here today with us, the technical officers and heads of unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, World Food representative from World Food Program, NDFD, and all the other stakeholders who are here today. We welcome you to this seminar. Today is the day that IICA is going to give us an overview of all what they have done from 2024 to 25. Every year this is an annual event, and stakeholders come to witness other programs that they may or may not be involved in. Sometimes you're involved in one node, and other times you don't know what is happening overall. So today is the day that they share with us what they have been doing. And we wish to welcome all of you here today as we go on with the proceeds. The PS would have loved to be here, but he couldn't make it, so he asked me to give his regards to the IICA family, our partners that have been moving agriculture. IICA have worked with the Ministry of Agriculture. You could almost say it's like a unit, an arm of the agricultural ministry. They have made intervention along the value chain of many commodities. They have worked with agro-processors, farming families. They have worked on the production end. They have worked with women. They are the champion for youth. They've given support for the development of youth in agriculture in Dominica and regionally. They have worked in soil conservation and sustainability, School of Agriculture. They've done trainings. They have provided equipment. They have done inputs. So IICA have been doing a lot throughout the years, and I am very lucky to have been part of the process along most of the chain, because since I started with the ministry, I've always worked with or helped with the implementation and intervention that IICA has been making, because IICA has always been outreaching to the farming community to make intervention at whatever levels. So we welcome this seminar today, and we hope that everybody will get a clear idea as to what are their outputs, what they have been working on. So on that note, we wish to welcome Mr. Greg Rollins, IICA representative of the ECS countries.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good morning, all. And let me adopt the protocol that has been established but recognize the Honorable Roland Royer, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, the Honorable Lakia Joseph, the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, with specific responsibility for development of community agro-enterprises. I also want to recognize Mr. Anthony Cyril, the Technical Specialist here in the delegation in Dominica, the many representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture, our development partners, many of them are here, who we've worked with, stakeholders, one and all, A pleasant good morning to all again. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Director General of IICA and the entire IICA family to say that it's indeed a pleasure and a privilege for me to extend warm greetings to everyone who have joined us for our annual Accountability Seminar 2025. As you're well aware, the IICA has embraced accountability as one of the core values in seeking to strengthen the position of the Institute. And we convene this Accountability Seminar every year, as the Chair has indicated, to provide an opportunity for IICA to report on achievements for the preceding year and to share some of our planned activities with key stakeholders and development partners. And Mr. Cyril will do a detailed presentation on this. We also provide an opportunity through the Accountability Seminar for our partners and collaborating institutions to be fully aware of what we are doing in an effort to ensure that we can develop linkages and partnerships, and also to provide an opportunity for everyone to provide feedback on our work. This morning, I wish to take this opportunity to share with you the drivers that shape IICA's technical cooperation in the Eastern Caribbean region, including our activities here in Dominica, and also to highlight some strategic areas that require our urgent attention if we are to build a competitive, sustainable, and resilient agricultural sector in Dominica and the Eastern Caribbean. For us, there are 5 strategic drivers that shape IICA's program. First, the need for urgent action to address escalating physical climate risks, leading to the hyper-vulnerability of the countries, and in particular the agricultural sectors. Building resilience has therefore been at the core of our technical agenda in Dominica and the Eastern Caribbean. We have pursued actions that encourage the adoption of sustainable technologies and practices, regenerative and bioeconomic approaches, nature-based solutions, amongst others, to position the sector to better withstand impacts and also respond quickly following disasters. I'm happy to report that IICA has secured resources to implement a project designed to establish a quality seed program for rapid agricultural disaster response in the Caribbean region, which will ensure that there is easy access to seed and planting material after any devastating impact on the sector, thus allowing for timely restoration of production and livelihoods in the sector. The project will involve the establishment of mobile seed banks, a regional supply network, a strategy to leverage external financial resources, and a training program that supports the sustainability of the system. We anticipate that Dominica, which has recently established the Dominica China Agricultural Science Complex building, which includes a facility for storage of seed, will play an active role in this project. In addition, I'm pleased to inform you that IICA has submitted to the Green Climate Fund a concept note for the CARICOM Climate Resilient Farming Project, called CCRIF, which includes Dominica as one of the beneficiary countries. The project aims to reduce the overall risks of investing in the agricultural sector by implementing climate-resilient agroecological practices, reducing post-harvest losses and waste, and leverage the natural capital assetization of soil, circular business models, and low greenhouse gas emissions branding. IICA will serve as the accredited entity of the GCF for this project. We also continue to support the work of the OECS Ministerial Subcommittee on Agriculture and Fisheries Insurance, which is chaired by the Honorable Roland Royer, Minister of Agriculture here in Dominica. And this committee seeks to develop risk management and risk transfer tools, given the high risks associated with investing in and operating within the sector. These are but a few of the number of the projects and initiatives which involve Dominica and focus on strengthening resilience of the sector. Second, we need to respond to the current high food import dependency of the region and its implications for food security, particularly in an environment of policy shifts and geopolitical uncertainty. Our focus on this front has been on boosting production through developing selected value chains and supporting MSMEs in adding value to local production to capitalize on domestic, regional, and international market opportunities. Some of the value chains that are currently on the agenda across the ECS include white potatoes, sweet potatoes, pineapple, apiculture, sea moss, mushrooms, selected livestock, small ruminants, rabbits, to name a few. Within the context of the development of the agricultural sector in the Eastern Caribbean, Dominica is considered strategically positioned to capitalize on the vast opportunities associated with the high and growing food import bill in the region. As the country with the most vibrant agricultural sector, contributing to 14.8% of GDP in 2023, Dominica should boost its production and trade capacity to service the needs of the region, notwithstanding the challenges that will be involved, particularly from the point of view of vulnerability. And therefore, building resilient production systems will be extremely important in this regard. Third, we hold the view that the only way to achieve sustainable development in the agricultural sector is to adopt a people-centered approach. We therefore continue to place great emphasis on the engagement and economic empowerment of community-based and farmer organizations, youth, women, marginalized groups, and other stakeholders who are engaged in the agriculture and rural spaces across the Eastern Caribbean. We intend to remain connected to our rural communities and to leverage resources for capacity building and collective action towards sustainable livelihoods through commercial activity, while also contributing to social protection of the most vulnerable. We continue to work closely with the OECS Commission in supporting youth and women economic empowerment through regional activities such as the Youth in Agriculture Symposium held in Dominica last August and the OECS study tour to Costa Rica, which was recently conducted by ministers, youth, and women. We are currently preparing proposals to support follow-up to these initiatives with a view to delivering capacity building programs, internships, establishing and strengthening national and regional youth organizations, and collaborating with the Ministries of Agriculture to strengthen youth desks and windows to serve as one-stop shops for youth interested in operating in the sector. You will also be well aware of our collaboration with the MBD here in Dominica, and I'm sure Tony will elaborate on our collaboration in this regard. The fourth area that serves as a pillar relates to our need to safeguard our production against threats associated with exotic pests and diseases, and to facilitate trade through modernizing the agricultural health and food safety systems. As such, we are implementing actions to strengthen the capacities of the countries in the region, including Dominica, to do all that can be done to prevent the introduction of the African swine fever and TR4, and to build systems for surveillance and management of any outbreaks. We are therefore implementing the USDA-funded project, the African Swine Fever Surveillance and Response Capacity Building Project for the Caribbean, Central America, and Andean region, and continue to work closely with USDA APHIS under the Greater Caribbean Safeguard Initiative, the Caribbean Plant Health Directors, and other partners to support preparedness and management actions related to TR4 fusarium. Finally, we believe that there's an urgent need to improve the enabling environment through policy, planning, and institutional strengthening, as well as through regional cooperation initiatives to allow stakeholders to have access to the necessary support services in a timely and efficient manner. We therefore continue to support countries in the preparation of agricultural sector plans and policies and provide much needed capacity building and institutional support to improve service delivery to stakeholders. We recognize the tremendous value in adopting a regional OECS approach to addressing the challenges and exploiting the opportunities available in the sector. IICA continues to support the implementation of the OECS FAST strategy through the provision of an IICA technical specialist dedicated to support the agriculture desk of the OECS Commission. As we strive to develop the agriculture sector here in Dominica and the Eastern Caribbean, there are some key considerations that should be central to the strategy. Some of these don't relate to the hard technological issues which often dominate our focus, but rather relate to some softer matters which are often viewed as less important, but which we are convinced can have a major impact on the development process. First, we believe it's important to create spaces for dialogue, networking, sharing of experiences, and for greater cooperation among stakeholders at the national and regional levels. This is crucial if we are going to build sustainable value chains targeting domestic markets, including tourism and export markets. And IICA has experience in building dialogue platforms for value chains, which we are most willing to share with Dominica. Second, we believe that there's a need for a much more robust and engaging program to involve stakeholders from the initial planning of activities, and these stakeholders include youth, women, and communities, so that we can have more effective participation and greater buy-in in projects, which would lead to greater sustainability. We have observed that a number of projects, when the project comes to an end, the activities tend to fall very flat because of the lack of appropriate buy-in by stakeholders. Third, we believe that there's an important need to establish national coordinating mechanisms and platforms for increased collaboration and cooperation between all stakeholders, whether it be government, the private sector, the NGO community development partners, because we recognize that the lack of coordination in the sector is one of the major hindrances to us being able to achieve impact, because we are not working as closely together as we should. We also believe that if we are going to achieve the adoption of resilient and sustainable practices, there's a need for a paradigm shift, and we need to create special incentives that will encourage change in the sector, particularly in relation to adopting innovative technologies, including digital technologies, that will allow for a much more environmentally responsible production base. And finally, we need to do a lot more to strengthen our data and information systems, as well as capacity to support the monitoring and evaluation of actions, and for improved policy and program formulation. IICA remains committed to supporting the efforts here in Dominica to address these issues, and stands available to bring our experience, our methodologies and tools to the process. As I close, I wish to emphasize that our progress over the last year would not have been possible without you, our development partners and stakeholders, who have collaborated with us to ensure the timely delivery of activities undertaken. We therefore wish to once again express our heartfelt gratitude to all of you for your support and encouragement. Special thanks to the Honorable Minister, Permanent Secretary, and the staff of the Ministry of Agriculture for your support and collaboration over the past year. I also wish to place on record my thanks and appreciation to the hard-working and dedicated staff of the IICA delegation here in Dominica, Mr. Anthony Cyril, our technical specialist, and Ms. Maureen Dominic, our Assistant Executive Secretary, as well as to the staff of the IICA delegation, other units, headquarters, who have collaborated on and supported the delivery of our technical program. In closing, I wish to take this opportunity to reiterate IICA's commitment to work closely with all stakeholders in the agricultural and rural sectors here in Dominica. We stand available to support your efforts. That's why we're here. And today is an opportunity for us to share what we've been doing, to get your feedback, and to determine how we can do things even better so that we can make a much more greater contribution to the agricultural sector here in Dominica. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins, for bringing greetings from your head office to us here in Dominica, and we thank you as well for what was done in 2024-25, and we welcome all the new opportunities for climate resilience and adaptation in our country, as well as securing our activities that will secure food security in Dominica as we move on. And at this time, we would wish to welcome Mr. Anthony Cyril, Technical Specialist, IICA Office Dominica, to the podium.
Good morning, everybody. I know a welcome has already been said, but it would be remiss of me to not give my own welcome. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Roland Roy, Parliamentary Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Lakia Joseph, Greg Rollins, ECS rep for IICA, Doreen Etienne Cardi, Michelle Joseph, NBD rep, agriculture colleagues, other stakeholders like the NDFD, the school principals, among other NGOs and partners we work with, welcome. This morning, I'm here to give a short PowerPoint presentation on our accomplishments for the 2024 year. So once our tech guys are ready, I will continue. PowerPoint. So while we wait for technical issues, I would like to say that I think Mr. Rollins articulated pretty well IICA plans going forward. And I guess this will lay the foundation for a short discussion post the ceremony, where we can discuss IICA activities for 2025 and how you all can be a part of that initiative, because like you said, it can't be done without our stakeholders. Apologies for the technical difficulties.
Okay, everyone, while we wait until the video comes through, Sorry, Murphy Law is very active today, although we prayed for positive energy, but there's a little, yes, there's a little mishap with the video. Let's hope we will get through with it soon, or maybe we may have to share screen from our phone. No, it's not possible. Okay, that was just an option, suggestion. It's not possible. So, we know it's hot. The AC could have been working a little better because I'm seeing everybody fanning, but unfortunately, again, Murphy's Law is kicking in, very active. And we strongly apologize for all this delay and discomfort. But we do have good technicians who will make it happen, and it's about to happen. And it's happening.
So once again, welcome everybody. Mr. Macron, may want to come across the tool. Look at it. You can see from here? Okay, let's see. So as Mrs. Stevenson done said, welcome to IICA Dominica for the seminar, Agriculture Transformation through Innovation and Partnership. Well, IICA's overview, Mr. Rollins mentioned it, 5 key areas. Specialized agriculture agency of the information system since 1942, so we've been at it for 80 plus years. Our mission is to stimulate, promote, and support the efforts of member states to achieve agricultural development and rural well-being. Our base is in Costa Rica, led by Dr. Manuel Otero. And within 34 member states, we have like 300 sector specialists, and if you add all the admin staff, we're up to about 500 member staff. So IICA is well equipped to support. We are driven by what we call our emissary programs. We have 7 of them. Resilient agriculture, agriculture and food safety. One of our more important ones lately, how we come to make agriculture technically sound, empowering women and youth, innovation by the economy, trade integration, and family farming. To give a quick snapshot of what we did for 2024, one of our flagship programs was the IICA Schools program, our successful OECS Youth Symposium, the US CAPEX Extension System Modernization Program, which was not one very visible, but the impact into the development was very well needed, and the White Political Study Tour, which we had in December. But before we go to that, let's look at the agricultural landscape. It's important to note that Dominica is one of the few countries in the OECS where agriculture still is a double digit when it comes to contribution to GDP. As of 2023, from the World Bank, we have 40% contribution to GDP. Our priorities in agriculture will be climate resilience, youth engagement, and export diversification. I think these 3 areas will be some of what we want to do. Make the sector resilient, bring in younger farmers, younger producers, and produce not just raw material, but finished products ready for export to bring in much more money into the country and increase livelihoods. But I have to say, there are some challenges which we have to work with. And each challenge will pose of opportunity. So we can look at climate volatility, hurricanes, droughts. But the opportunity there is climate smart technology. So we talk about irrigation, greenhouses, aging farmers. Well, we can do youth programs, so sort of like the OECS Youth Symposium, the ESG schools. high input costs, fertilizer and feed. And then we can talk about regional collaboration between seed exchanges, the capital program, and even stuff like what Mr. Rollins mentioned, the FAST strategy, which will look to wanting to reduce food import by 20% by 2025, but it's now 2020. But the thing is, the mandate is there to look at the reducing food imports. And we have market access barriers. What the opportunity there is to strengthen our export dedication through DOMGAP, and IICA can do some support there as well. Let's look at one of our flagship projects, which was the NBD IICA EAD Schools program. 3 schools, or we can call them living laboratories, were part of this program, located in community high schools, St. Luke's Primary, Commission, and Davis Primary. Major infrastructure work we did there was at Davis Primary, what we call, Mr. Stevenson will tell you, a living water system, where you constructed a ramp pump, a water tank. So then that school had access to water for the farming system throughout it. After it works pretty well, the pump, I think that now gone to the demo system for farmers within the area with access to streams to look at how you can utilize the ramp pump to conserve, to collect water. And St. Luke's Primary to protect agriculture, with the greenhouse and raised beds, and some sort of composting for the primary school students. And at community high school, we did what we call more or less focused on composting. But apart from that, the students also did visits to the 1 mile agricultural station where they were exposed to not just farming technologies, but they were brought to the science and technology building where they were exposed to tissue culture and other tech-based initiatives in agriculture. So here we can see the composting, the pyramid composting system constructed at community high school. One of the things, the main thing we can do is before partner NBD, they maintain that there was a lot of waste paper, shredded paper. So now we can partner with them, we can bring in that paper, use it in the school composting program, and show the students how composting can become a credible activity in terms of being lucrative. Not just like small scale, back at level, but they can take measurements, weights, and see the outcome of the next step would be testing at the Bureau of Standards and see the quality of the compost and see how it can be used. There you see the students at the primary school constructing the ramp pump. We had officer from the North, Compton, Bertrand, and they were pretty intrigued that into putting parts together and building that pump, and this pump works pretty well. And there, with Mr. Douglas at the tissue water facility, the kids were exposed to tissue culture. They actually went to the lab, put on their coats, and splicing, and did everything with tissue culture, which they were very intrigued. Another part of the project was not just to build an agriculture on the ground, but to tie the students in the cultural heritage in the community. So one thing done was to create 2 murals in 2 schools. So Point Michel School, St. Luke's, because there is cultural history and the music and dancing, the artists highlighted the ballet dancing. And Community High School, because in the Rural Valley, they highlighted the tourism component of that area. The students were very much involved in the painting with the 2 local artists selected. You can well see where we are going with this session. IICA is very much involved in youth, as Miranda said, we are champions in agriculture. And last year, we hosted in Dominica the Youth Agriculture Symposium in partnership with OECS and the Ministerial of Agriculture. Some of the major impacts was youth-led recommendations presented to the Prime Minister and the DG of the OECS. This was very important because what happened after the 2-3 day event, the youth put together a charter of all the things they think that needed to be addressed for youth in agriculture. This was collated and presented to Dr. Jules of the OECS at the closing ceremony. In attendance, we had key entrepreneurs from across the OECS. And the legacy of this is, as I say, action plan for youth inclusion in agriculture and policy making. I know we're talking about 2024, but I need to mention what went on 2 weeks ago in Costa Rica, which was a follow-up from this event. I can see the highlight of this was the charter last year was presented to Dr. Jules. The charter this year was presented to the Ministerial Committee of the Administrators Council of Ministers. So there they use a chance to sit down in the meeting and present. I think long term, the idea is to have youth chapters in each OECS territory, ag chapters, have an executive, and that executive now will have a permanent seat on the Ministerial Council, where they can all champion the voice of the youth at that decision-making level. Because we think that the impact we made is not just on ground, but at the level of governance and decision-making. And I think IICA is well poised to do that, because on that trip, the youth were not just exposed to farming techniques in Carter University, but they were exposed to the high-level meetings where they met the IICA DG, they met the Minister of Government, and they had a chance to interact with them at that level, not just on the farm, but to discuss policies and how they can be addressed from a youth perspective. Another interesting component we have was the USAID CAPA extension strengthening system. One of the main things was to look at the gap analysis to evaluate the extension system in Dominica. The major output was a project document in terms of to look at extension and the way forward. We all know what happened with some of the USAID funding, but luckily the document as it relates to extension modalities was completed and presented. The key findings were able to standardize protocols and limit climate smart training for field officers. That's just a very brief overview, but the document goes in detail as to some of its extension challenges and the way forward, and has to help to make it much more inclusive and be more productive and efficient in the field. A very interesting study tour held in December last year. Within the IICA Dominica has been a champion for white potato production. A lot of other territories now are coming to us as the model for white potato production. So the St. Vincent delegation, headed by Michael Dalton, our colleague in St. Vincent, spearheaded a mission with the guys from St. Vincent. So we take 2 researchers and 2 external officers from the ministry. And they came in and did a quick study tour. They interacted with guys like Mr. Mitchell, Delroy Williams, and they had a meeting with other stakeholders like the banks, plant protection, to look at the entire chain in potato production, not just how it is on the ground, but what needs to be done prior to importing, from phytosanitary, land preparation, financing from the banks, bringing DEXAs to wholesale consolidators, even planting the ground, and they had a chance to meet the farmers co-op. So they got a very broad idea of potatoes, not just planting, but what it entails and the issues around it in terms of arrival of seeds, timing of planting, and seed quality and treatment. Because what they did was they did particular plots, not just plant by Kivai, but they used demo plots based on our protocols. So they want to now have another meeting with us so they can give their findings in terms of the elevation, the yield, the pest and disease they found, so now we can exchange ideas. Because the idea of Mr. Rollins said is to go forward and present some sort of program, not just a Dominica program, but all of us have the same challenges. So look at the original OECS potato program, white and sweet, because we know the difference between white and sweet potato, and where we can make inroads as a collective. Well, after the talk of youth, we cannot not mention Mr. Kevin Vidal, our Caribbean Farmer of the Year awardee. TWA in St. Vincent, our very own Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed, our Director of Technical Operations, awarded him this trophy on behalf of Caribbean. But upon his return to Dominica, the office gave him a small check, a small token of $500 which we look forward to his family enterprise. Something that may have be going unnoticed, but is one of IICA's main tenets, is capacity building, training of officers at different levels. So last year, a total of 14 trainings and seminars were held. The participants trained were at least 14 Dominican specialists and over 10 countries within CARICOM and external. The key focus areas were plant and animal health, climate resilience, trade policy, and youth empowerment. So we can look at agriculture, health and food safety. We looked at about the African Swine Fever Workshop, the CPHA Forum, that's Caribbean Plant and Directors Forum. Into the ag resilience, we talked about COP29 and disaster management sessions, trade and integration, WTO, SPA, agriculture negotiations, and youth empowerment. We spoke about the OECS Youth Symposium. So as you can see, we cover a wide gamut within the agricultural sector, and though all the trainings they are not based on the ground, But what happens there will determine how farmers produce in terms of trade negotiations, phytosanitary negotiations, and those sort of things. And I think this will lay the foundation for our discussion after our planetary strategic focus areas. I know Mr. Rollins went in depth in them, but I can just go over it again. So the four main pillars they're looking at this year is territorial development and family farming. So a lot of things are already in the works, not completed, but we are big and work on them. So we look at small, medium trade and development, youth entrepreneurship. I mean, you can see already we started with the study tour to Costa Rica. The white potato R&D is ongoing, like I said, the fall of St. Vincent, and we're already in the work with some of our study tour to develop a program for the OECS. And viticulture expansion. Viticulture is very important, and a lot of our approaches, I would say, are not just, we are not looking just at it from a Dominica perspective. Though Dominica will be good, but I think we can get a much bigger impact if we do it from an OECS initiative and OECS aspect. But I mean, we know apiculture is a big thing, so we are looking at apiculture as well. We have already started some work on that for our partners in Barbados and Trinidad and Jamaica. When we look at climate impact and sustainability, we talk about climate resilient farming. That's the GCF project we're putting forward to really make a dent in that area. And smart irrigation tech adoption, which we have done in some schools and moving forward. IICA Agriculture and food safety, the African swine fever is ongoing. All that will come on later. The trainings are now going on in St. Vincent and St. Lucia, but soon to come in Dominica. We'll have people coming down Dominica, we'll do the testings and sample out. So it's just a phased approach, but that will be ongoing. Looking at livestock waste solutions, and we are now in discussion for the program for a call looking at how we can do some work on MRLs and developing export compliance in labs and stuff. So these things are ongoing development work. Trade and regional integration. We have a major project now with the CDB and MSME, capacity building for the MSMEs, but it's a series of consultancies to look at MSMEs on the island. So that will come on maybe the second half of the year. Just general work within caricature and alignment. We do a lot of work for our COLIA program, or webinars to talk about those things, so we can get farmers, people on board. So I want to say thank you to everybody for coming here. I know it was a quick presentation, but I hope you had a nice overview of what we've been doing for the past year and what we intend to do going forward. And like I said, it can be done with double participation and the support of our stakeholders. Thank you very much.
That was a very detailed overview of what happened in 2024 for IICA Dominica office. Like I indicated earlier on, sometimes you think you know all of the activities, but when you come to the accountability seminar, you see how far they reach in terms of capacity building for the professionals, intervention at the farm level, targeting the youth. So thank you, IICA. We continue to be faithful partners of Ministry of Agriculture, and we look forward to your upcoming 2025-26 program, where we will partner again to help in the transformation of the whole agricultural sector. Of course, thank you to the Youth in Agriculture Coordinator, NBD, where you reach down to the base level, our young actors who will, one, develop an appreciation for agriculture, and two, they are going to be future actors within the system. So we have to embrace them now, include them now, and plan for them in the future. And as we move along with the program, we wish to welcome our Honorable Minister, Roland Royer, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. Oh, sorry. Yes. I thought that was it. Okay, so sorry, my apologies. I want to rush the program, it seems. Okay, so right now we will have a video of the 40th anniversary video presentation.
Dominica, a jewel of the Caribbean. Towering mountains, pure rivers, and fertile volcanic soil have sustained generations of farmers. Here, agriculture is not just survival, it is a way of life. Together, with partners like IICA, Dominica is forging a resilient path forward in the face of climate change. The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, is transforming rural livelihoods in Dominica. Through sustainable practices, innovation, food security, and community empowerment, IICA is helping agriculture thrive in harmony with nature.
Once the IICA is the specialized agricultural institution within the Inter-American states. It's been doing this role for the past 8 years. IICA became established in 1942. In 2024, Dominica celebrated a milestone with IICA, a milestone for IICA. That was the year we celebrated 40 years as being a member of the institution. Partnership with the MOA, or I should say with the Ministry of Agriculture, has been the cornerstone of IICA's progress from rebuilding after hurricanes to implementing climate-smart agriculture initiatives. Together we transformed extensional activities, empowered youth and women, and even strengthened agricultural and food safety systems.
IICA's ecosystem-based adaptation project has restored vulnerable lands with over 90,000 vetiver plants, protecting homes and preventing landslides. Women-led initiatives like Nature's Nursery are turning green innovation into green enterprise.
I'm the owner of Vetiver Green Solutions. Green business which was formed under the IICA project with the guidance of Ken Coppell, using vetiver to stabilize soil and minimize erosion. Places where we have a lot of land slippage and a lot of loss of topsoil, we use the vetiver to counter that. Our business was funded under the EBA project with the help of Mr. Ken Coppell and IICA. They were the ones who helped us, guide us, give us the marketing skills and all of that to have the business created. We are basically the specialized unit in Dominica for installing vetiver, and right now we are undergoing a little training per se, and to use the roots of the vetiver to create oils. As we are a community of where we create essential oil, which is the bay leaf, we are now trying to get people into doing the vetiver oil, which is a lot more expensive than the bay oil. Under the project, 2 other green businesses were created, which was mainly formed with ladies. We have the arts and craft, which they use the vetiver leaves to do baskets and tools and different stuff, mats, table mats, floor mats, and so on. And then we have another green business, which is the nursery, where they sell the vetiver slips. I believe with a little more incentive, a little more adaptation, more people will be into it, because we are right now trying to do re-educational programs in schools to teach the children about the vetiver programs, the use of the vetiver, and so on.
In partnership with FAO, IICA is building a thriving CMOS industry, from ocean to markets. With new skills, infrastructure, and partnerships, producers are crafting a sustainable, resilient value chain.
The Grand Bay CMOS Group, Kalibishi, and Woodford Hill CMOS Group are all groups that have benefited from the FAO IICA funded project. Under this project, IICA and FAO was able to bring in an expert from St. Lucia to train those 3 groups. The training involves site selection, planting of the CMOS, caring for the CMOS, and harvesting of the CMOS. The Grand Bay CMOS Group, they benefited a bit more from the group. IICA was able to build them a drying shed. Just imagine you have 500 pounds of CMOS that you just harvested, and you have it in the open element. And with the fluctuating weather pattern those days, you would have to be looking out for the rain, but with a shed, you will not have that problem. Yeah, the shed is fully equipped with 2 drying racks, capable of holding anywhere between 500 and 800 pounds, 500 to 800 pounds of CMOS. CMOS is a lucrative industry. It is growing, and the government of Dominica has seen fit to introduce CMOS into Dominica because of the lucrative industry, and there is a ready market for CMOS. So there is no way that CMOS is going to stay on your hand. There's a market available for CMOS worldwide, locally, and both for making beverages and so on. So there is a market for CMOS. Hence the effort to go into CMOS.
Over 17,000 feet of contour drains and nearly 40,000 feet of vetiver strips now protect Dominica's farmland, empowering hundreds of farmers to build climate resilience.
IICA saw it fit that a project should be formulated to deal with this kind of issues of land slippage and soil loss. So individuals were trained in making vetiver plants, which is a grass species that is used for slope stabilization. Individuals were trained in making the plants, and they were also trained in doing contour planting, that is planting across the slopes, and doing the contour drains across the slopes. If you make drains across the slopes, you will trap water running down the slope, and you can divert it into one general specific area where it will not cause so much soil erosion. So in a combination of contour drainage with the vetiver plants, this helped greatly in stabilizing some slopes in the San Sauver area specifically. With the intervention that IICA has made, it has have an impact on the communities so far. What we wish and hope for is that a greater use of the vetiver grass and the contour drains.
Through partnership with UNDP, IICA is bringing new financial tools to women and smallholder farmers, helping them adapt, grow, and thrive.
I am a farmer for the past 49 years, and what I grow here, I grow yam, I grow kush, cassava, and as well vetiver. I plant the vetiver to protect my topsoil so I can use it as for grass barriers. It is really more stable, and I must say I'm happy because not only that the vetiver have a lot of benefit, because I can cut flat and so it as mat, and as well I can make basket with it.
Together, we are growing resilience for the land, for the people, and for the future. Join us in this journey of hope and sustainability.
Under the EBA project, the CMOS project, where they help with the drying shed, and all the other projects that they made interventions at all the different nodes of the different value chains and targeting different players within the agricultural sector. So nice video, IICA. Compliments to you. Congratulations still if you're celebrating the 40 years. Small office of 2 people with great reward, with great actions. So we continue to give you your flowers. Now we move ahead. We are moving ahead with the agenda, and we would love to welcome Honorable Roland Royer to the podium to give his remarks as Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. Mr. Royer has been an actor within the sector at all levels, from production all the way to policy and planning. Community, national, and he's just reminded me marketing as well, national, and now he's very active regionally, giving energy to all programs for the development and the transformation of the agricultural sector. Mr. Royer, Honorable Royer, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Miranda, for these kind words. Okay, I'm a little taller than Tony, so I have to adjust a bit. Right. Good morning all. Let me acknowledge
my colleague, Honorable Lakia Joseph, Mr. Rollins, IICA rep for the ECS, Mr. Anthony Cyril, our technical specialist, IICA Dominica, Mr. Dorian Etienne, IICA Dominica, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm seeing a rep from Dexia, a rep from NBD, and other partners, members of the media. Good morning, all. It's indeed a pleasure to join you at this year's annual accountability seminar hosted by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. Let me begin by commending IICA for convening this important event. This seminar is not only a demonstration of transparency and good governance, but it is also a symbol of the organization's deep commitment to partnership, accountability, and transformation in agriculture across the region. For over 40 years, the Ministry of Agriculture in Dominica has had the privilege of working closely with IICA. During this time, we have witnessed firsthand IICA's unwavering dedication to building stronger and more resilient farming communities in Dominica. The positive impact of this long-standing relationship is evident in the lives of our farmers, our youth, and our communities. Just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to participate in the landmark meeting of the OECS Ministers of Agriculture at the IICA headquarters in San Jose, Costa Rica. That meeting held with the Director General was an affirmation of our shared vision. It led to the signing of a critical MOU that sets the stage for enhanced regional cooperation to advance agriculture in the OECS. One of the standout highlights of that visit was the participation of 25 young farmers from across the OECS, including 2 dynamic young Dominicans. These young men and women were exposed to cutting-edge agricultural technologies and had the rare opportunity to share their challenges and chart a way forward. As someone who personally benefited from IICA's Young Leadership Programs, having participated in IICA's Young Leaders Agriculture Program in 2009, I can confidently say that these initiatives have a transformational impact. That experience shaped me, both as a young farmer and as an agricultural professional. IICA's commitment to empowering our youth continues to shine. With an investment of US $37,200 from NBD, IICA provided technical leadership, coordination, and supervision to execute impactful activities that promote food security, sustainable waste management, and agricultural education, benefiting 55 students. These students now possess critical skills in crop production, composting, irrigation system, and sustainable farming practices. It is programs like these that not only plant the seeds of knowledge, but also grow the next generation of agricultural leaders. So I want to commend NBD and IICA for this partnership. Very timely. Additionally, IICA played an instrumental role in partnership with the OECS Commission in hosting a Youth in Agriculture Symposium, a vibrant 3-day event aligned with OECS FAST strategy, bringing together over 55 participants from 6 OECS member states. This symposium was a powerful platform to foster innovation, knowledge sharing, and youth participation in the agricultural sector. IICA has also significantly contributed to strengthening the extension services in Dominica through a collaborative initiative funded by USAID and implemented by Improving Economics for Stronger Communities. IICA led a national assessment of extension services to identify strengths and gaps. This effort enhanced the capacity of both public and private extension officers to better serve as smallholder farmers, ensuring they receive relevant, timely, and science-based guidance. As we all grapple with the escalating threats of climate change,
IICA's promotion of smart and resilient agriculture becomes even more crucial. In Dominica, we have experienced the devastating effects of hurricanes, floods, and shifting weather patterns. IICA's ongoing support in promoting climate resilient technologies, sustainable land management practices, and early warning systems is pivotal. We look forward to IICA's continuing to assist our farmers with climate-smart practices, financial risk tools, and research-driven adaptation strategies. Food and nutrition security remains a top national priority. IICA has been strong an ally in this pursuit. Through its support in school feeding programs, climate resilient farming methods, and the capacity building efforts, IICA helped us make significant strides towards ensuring that every Dominican has access to safe, nutrition, and sufficient food. Equally important is IICA's role in shaping a sustainable agricultural sector in Dominica, one that is economically viable, environmentally sound, and socially inclusive. The ministry values IICA technical expertise in supporting policy formulation, market access initiatives, and capacity building for sustainable practices. As we strive to meet our national target of 700 million contribution to GDP by 2030, we believe IICA's continued support will be essential, from boosting value chain development to facilitating agro-processing ventures and supporting investment in agri-tech and youth entrepreneurship. IICA is a key partner in this vision. Going forward, we welcome deeper engagement with IICA in areas that align with our strategic goals, such as job creation, rural revitalization, climate resilience, food sovereignty, and innovation. We encourage IICA to further align its program with the immediate needs of our farmers, delivering tangible, high-impact results that uplift farm families and energize rural economies. So on behalf of the government and people of Dominica, I say thank you to IICA for your partnership, your leadership, and your unwavering support over the years. I must recognize the efforts of Mr. Greg Rawlins, IICA's rep in the ECS, for always responding to Dominica's request for support. He did not mention, but recently I reached out to him for technical support for the rehabilitation of the Central Livestock Farm. In a few days, we got a letter saying that IICA is on board and they're now sourcing the relevant expertise to consult with us as we seek to rebuild our Central Livestock Farm at Londonderry. So thank you, IICA, for that. Our technical specialist, Mr. Anthony Cyril, we express our gratitude to you and the staff of IICA Country Office. We value your contributions deeply, and we look forward to continuing our shared journey towards a more resilient, food secure, and prosperous agricultural future. Let us continue to sow the seeds of progress together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, the photos just show how tall you are and how short some of us are. Okay, thank you, Honorable Royer, for your beautiful remarks and observing and commenting on IICA's actions that they had for 2024 and what they plan to do in the year ahead. And right now, we would hand it over. Sorry? Yes. Okay. Right now, the IICA family will hand over the 2024 annual report to the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Royer, Mr. Rawlins, as head of ECS countries, IICA rep, and Minister Royer.
Wonderful.
so that was 8. And moving on to the final step of the program, well, the official component of the program, because after that we do have a discussion with partners and clients. So moving on, we call on Ms. Dominic to give us the vote of thanks to end this official component of the accountability seminar.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, on behalf of IICA, I wish to say a special thank you to the Honorable Roland Rouet, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, for making the time to be with us this morning and presenting some remarks, as well as to the Honorable Lakeya Joseph, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, and to Mrs. Miranda Stevenson, Technical Officer Extension, for chairing the session today. We also say many thanks to all the staff of Ministry of Agriculture, whom we have worked very closely with during the last year. Without your support, we would not be able to achieve some of our goals. We also say thank you to our ECS representative, Mr. Greg Rollins, for being present with us today and for giving some remarks, and as well to Mr. Anthony Cyril, our technical specialist, who presented the highlights of our activities over the past year. We say thank you also to the NBD, who collaborated with us last year under the NBD ESG program on sustainable practices, and to all our stakeholders for their partnership and contributions made in 2024. I want to say a special thanks to Ms. Tiffany Marcel, who worked with us as an intern and assisted us in the administration of our projects and during the transition of bringing on a new technical specialist. Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks also to the media who have assisted in informing the public of our activities. And I also want to say thanks to the school, primary school and secondary school representatives who are here, who made time off, because I know it's exam time, and they made a special effort to be with us today. Thanks a lot. And finally, to each and every one of you, thanks for being here with us today. We appreciate your presence. Yeah, thank you.
One final thanks to everybody for attending, all the stakeholders and, and partners of IICA and agriculture. We have come to the end of the official ceremony, and IICA wish to welcome you to share some snack in the other classroom. Classroom 1? Class. Yes. Okay. So IICA wish to invite you for snacks, and then we return to have the discussion with partners and clients on IICA Technical Cooperation Program moving ahead. 15 minutes. So you can come back right after, so we can start the discussion.